Hello everybody, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench. I'll start with an apology. Sorry I've been away for a while. I've been busy with other stuff. I've been working on the Fiat 131. Some of you will know that channel. If you haven't, go and have a look. Nigel's Fiat 131. I'm basically turning a Fiat 131 into a Fiat 131 Abarth. And having rebuilt it and restored it and driven it around for a while and everything. If you go right back, I've just put out video 82. So if you go right back, you will see the car as it turned up, and then you will see me rebuild the engine and the gearbox and the rear axle and all the brakes and get it all running and driving it around, do some in-car videos as well, and then totally strip it down into a body shell and then start modifying it. So if you go and have a look at that, you might find it quite interesting. So anyway, here we have the M28A1, which is basically the T28. This is basically the what if version of this kit. I bought it in a 2-box set from Tiger Hobbies. There's a link in the description below if you want to go and order yourself one. It's actually quite a bargain, really. It's two full kits for, I think it's 87 quid or something. So it's a retail of 105, so they're doing quite a good price. And don't forget, use the code NMB10 and you get 10% off of that. So it'll make it what's that? It's going to be about 79. I think I'm right with this. 80. Is it 87 or 89? I can't remember now. Somewhere in that region, but you get 10% off it if you use my code. So you will see, and I've already done the review of this kit. I did a quick sort of thing about the tracks. Here are the tracks. There are 2,400 parts in there in those four tracks. They're each 100 links. At the moment, they're only 99 because the assembly will be the 100th link. And I'm not sure that the 100 is correct, but that's what they say in the instructions. But I've done a video about those, so you go and have a look at that. There's some tips on building them and stuff, and how I've gone about it. This is what's remaining. You don't get many spares, so be careful. These tiny little guide horns, you get 14 spares. Now, the thing that nobody else is talking about, that I've only just thought of while I was looking at this, it may be 2,400 parts, but each part has at least 2 sprue gates. So that means there's 4,800 sprue gates to deal with. But no, there's more than that, because these have got 3 per part. Okay? You can see they're joined together with those little connectors. So there's 3 sprue gates per horn. So that's another 400. So it's actually, to build these tracks, you are cleaning up 5,200 sprue gates. Yes, and somebody did comment on that video, I must be absolutely mad because I've ordered a set of 3D tracks as well and I still want to build those. I'm mad. But there we go. But that's all you get left. You get 1, 2, 3, 4 lots of the pins. Forget these guys. You only get a few pads left. So yeah, be very, very careful with the Carpet Monster with that one. And to give you an idea, that is... They are all the sprue gates, all the bits and pieces of tabs that are remaining. So that's not the sprues, that's just the interconnecting pieces. Absolutely crazy. So I'm going to stop calling this the M28T28. I'm going to call it the box of repetitiveness, because you can see here we have the options of building it in the full assembly or in travel mode. So you'll have that with just the outer 2 tracks removed and have them strapped together being towed behind. Travel mode. You can see here this version, which is, as I say, it's a what if. It has these 4 large drums on the back, and it has this huge, I'm assuming it's a spotlight on the front or an infrared light or something. As I say, it's a total what if. So getting into the build, they want you to start off by building the hull. I haven't done that. I've gone straight into the repetitive stuff again. So you can see here we've got make 8, make 2, make 6, make 2. That should actually be make 16, because you're going to need 16 of these. And as I said in my tracks video, don't forget that's the outside of the track. So you need to build 2 lots of tracks this way round with your sprue gate on that side, and then the other 2 lots of tracks with the sprue gate on this side. Okay, otherwise you'll end up with the differences in the tracks. So yeah, if we move on here, you can see, as we move through and we build the, you see this is just the single, and then we're going to start on the outer 2 runs of tracks. You can see here again we've got make 8, with exactly the same parts. So there we go. So lots and lots of work to do. So if we look at actually assembling these parts, you can see here it's all on the F sprue. Now the F sprue is a little beauty. We've got 4 of these, and you can see we've got all our road wheels, all of our spindles, our suspension, the HVVS suspension. We've got the actual mounts there that go on. We've got our pivots or axles for the wheels. We've got our pivots for the suspension, and we've got the end braces and the longitudinal coming out underneath. So and there's 4 of those, so you can see how it all goes together. Now this here is sort of, look carefully, you glue these to that, but you don't glue them to that. Okay, and then obviously the axle you don't glue to that, but they're not telling you not to glue that, so be careful. Anyway, so here's one built up. I've done 4 of these. You can see it's not working suspension as such, but it is. I just hold the back there. You can see it is movable, so it will find its own. So you'll end up with all the wheels on the ground basically, which is a good thing. So that's one there. So here are the parts that make one up. Okay, so you've got 4 wheels. Now I haven't cleaned the sprue gates up on them, and most of you who watch my videos will know why. We've got the 2 swivels there. We've got the lower support there, so that can go up there. We've got the outer cap piece here, so that can go up there with that. And then we've got 2 axles, and then we've got the 4 pivots for these to pivot on, and then we've got the actual HVVS units there, and they're going to end up going together like that. And then they can move in and out on each other. There's no springs or anything in it. As I say, it's not working suspension as such. So, with it held this way round, we grab these pivots. I'm going to hold these with tweezers so you can see what I'm talking about. And you can see that on the back of here, there is like a longitudinal lug running along that diameter. And that is going to sit in a groove in here. So you can see in there there's a groove, and there's a groove on the other side. So that is going to sit in there like that, and I can see straight away that I haven't properly cleaned up the sprue gate on there. So I'm just going to quickly get in there with a skinny stick and just remove the sprue gate. Okay, not that it really matters, because as you can see, hardly any of it can be seen. And what we need to do is fit this, and when we look at, I can see I've got a sprue gate not cleaned up properly on that side as well. Come on, guys, this is slack workmanship. But they are very difficult to hold, to sand, and you really need some old tweezers that you don't mind messing up with your sanding sticks. Right, so when we look at this, we can see we have a sort of, on the end, it's like a clamp. It's like a big sort of C-clamp. And you can see there's a bolt head sticking out, and that bolt head needs to be uppermost on here. So when that's that way round, that needs to go in with that bolt head uppermost. So that is going to fit in there. We need to make sure the tab goes in. Okay, and then that bolt head there needs to be at the top. And as I say, when that's that way round with the longer spring to your left, then that is the top. So that's going in like that, and then we're going to put this pivot in here, or suspension arm, whatever you want to call it, and then we need to find the correct side for this. So that is going to go into there. It needs to be twisted round so that that lug lines up. There we go. So that just sits in there like that, and then with a drop of quick setting, I'm using quick setting purely for speed, just put that in there. The other beauty of quick setting, as I keep saying, is when you use quick setting, if you do get any glue on a moving part, then it's easy to break it away. Okay, and then with the end of the tweezers, I'm just going to push those in nice and firm, pull them together. Then we have a nice moving pivot for our suspension. Now, as far as the wheels are concerned, as you can see, I haven't removed the sprue gate, and you can see they've got quite a ridge on the outer edge, and they've got quite a draft on them as well. They also have some sinkage. So what we need to do is grab an axle, okay, and push that in there. That has a little sprue gate left on the end. I don't think that's what's stopping it going in though. Maybe it was. Okay, and then that's going to go into there, and then that's going to go into there, and you'll notice I'm not gluing anything at the moment. Okay, so now we can hold our wheels together, and the reason I've put the pivot in there is it stops the wheels rocking around. So what I'm going to do now is take my sanding stick and sand across, because as you know, I always say this in my tank videos, do wheels in pairs, and then you can guarantee that when you sand them, everything will be parallel that way. If you just pick up one wheel and start sanding it, you don't know, you might be sanding an angle on there. A lot of people like to do this in a drill or something, but I would prefer to do this because that way you get your full stroke across. I don't know what I'm talking about now. The full stroke across both tyres, and that keeps everything nice and square. Okay, so that's all done. You can see we've got some shiny sections in the middle. That's where there's a bit of sinkage. So just keep going to get rid of it all, because nothing looks worse than having all misshapen tyres on something that's as heavy as this. I believe this was 100 tons, wasn't it? So there we go. I'm just going around with a sponge just to remove any sharp edges from the sanding. There we go. And then we're going to do that, take that one off. I'm going to grab another axle, put it into there, put it through there, pop that wheel on. Nice tight fit they are. And then do the same again. Okay, so we've got all the wheels sanded, and I've done the other side now just as you saw me do just now. So we've now got these two pivots. Make sure you do them all the same so that the long one is on the left, and then when you come to put them together you can mix and match or whatever and put them all together. So they're just going to go together like that. Okay, then we're going to take this, this is the rear chassis support. This is the piece that bolts to the chassis, and then you've got this piece here which is part of the same casting, I believe. Oh no, it's bolted on. Oh no, it's a pivot. I think it's part of the same casting. But we do have a, if you buy the twin set, you get a fantastic reference book to go along with it, and it's absolutely, it's one of the best walk around reference books I've ever seen. I've got to be honest. I think it's done by Takom themselves, and it's very, very good. It covers every single little detail, and it shows you the, the tank under restoration as it was, all that sort of stuff. And bearing in mind there's only one left in the world, they did a great job. There was only ever two built, and one of them apparently caught fire. Apparently the book covers it, this was found. The T28 tank was found. It's 100 tons, it's a behemoth, and it was found. I mean, you find the pair of glasses you lost last year. You find a bag of sweets down the back of the sofa that you wondered where it had gone. You don't find a 100-ton tank, do you? Anyway, so that's going to go in there with those two pivots, and then this plate is going over the top to pick up in those two pivots like that, as you can see. So now that's all pivoting nicely, and then we're going to put a drop of cement in there. A decent drop of cement in there because it's quite a loaded area. And then what I'm going to do is pivot this right the way around and put a drop in the top as well. So there we go. So that's that one done. And then we can once again put the wheels back in just for the dry assembly stage. And the reason I'm not gluing them obviously is so that I can take them off to paint them. There we go. So that's it. I've now done 5, and that's taken me a long, long time. And I've got another 11 to go. How wonderful is that? You can see here, in fact I won't use that one, as I said, I'll use the old dry one, the dry one that I've done before. And you can see here, if my hand is the hull, it's all pivoting and we can have them coming apart, going together. Yeah, so whatever happens, you'll always have your wheels touching the track, so that's good. I'm surprised they didn't put tiny little springs in there or something so it always sits out, but then I suppose there's so many of them, you know, there's going to be 16 of these, so that would be 32 springs, and they'd have to be pointlessly soft to allow it to sit down, otherwise it'd be like a high rider. So there we are, so that's that done. So I've started off with stage 2. So once I've done 16 of these, so get the repetitive bit out of the way, when the weather cools down, which I think it's going to do in the next couple of days, we can get on with some painting on our M34s, 35th scale and 16th, and get that little Matilda 1 done and weathered and everything. So yeah, then we've got to do the return rollers, the sprockets and everything. I'll cover that in another video. But basically, I just want to get to the point where we can assemble some tracks. Well, I'll put the tracks on and see how many we actually need so I can tell you guys. Right, I don't think there's any adjustment in the idler, is there? That's the sprocket. Yeah, you've got a pin in there. You could actually leave the idler off. Where is the spindle for the idler? I've seen it on here. Where is it? Where is it? I saw it in here just now. There it is. So yeah, you could actually cut that little pin off. You can see it's going to go into the hull. So you've got a central pin there. And then you've got a little pin there, which is your guide. If you cut that pin off and don't glue that yet until you've got the tracks on, then you'll be able to adjust it to get exactly the right tension on the tracks. And then just dab some cement on it. So I think that's what I'll do. And I'll show you that bridge when we come to it. As I say, it's been a quickie. I don't even know if I call it part 1. I just wanted to show you the assembly of that and give the newer modelers out there the tips on the sanding. But just so you can see how much of it you can actually see. There you go. You can freeze frame that and see how far you need to go with all your careful sanding on those little bits and pieces. And bear in mind, if you're building it in the built-up state, 8 of these are going to be inboard behind these wheels, so you're not going to see them at all. So there you go. Right, thank you for watching. I'll see you all soon with another video, I promise. And once this weather cools down, we can get stuck back into it again. Right, I'll see you again. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.